All right. Central bank something currency. Central bank digital currency, CBDCs, folks. The time is happening now. So we need to pay attention. So again, I believe there's a huge risk right now with having too much cash in the bank. And what's happened because of interest rates going up, and I find the timing coincidental, purely coincidental, that interest rates have risen so much that there's a drove of cash that has been reinfused in the banks, especially with the weakness in the banks right now. Now, historically speaking, insurance has been a safe haven during the Depression, during times of unrest, during times of COVID. Now, people can complain about low returns, but we're going to go in a deep dive into income riders, folks. There are two types of income riders. There is the use it or lose it, or there's the one that creates a pension-like income or an inflation-friendly increasing income. And there's a third one, which is a guaranteed level income. So we'll talk about it. So Patty, I've been hogging the microphone. Please comment. You got about a minute, and then we'll go to the next, and then we'll comment a lot more.
But you do it so well.
Well, thank you.
The thing about our pension-like income that we offer, unlike a pension that you think of with your company, is that when you pass, the funds continue to go to your spouse. And when the spouse passes, there is still a death benefit for their heirs.
Yes.
And that's a differentiation that's important for clients to understand.
Yeah, we need to go into it next segment,
Yes.
Going into a deep dive. Folks, you can reach us at 1-800-440-0434 or go to mymoneyissafe.com. Folks, we are on YouTube. You can catch us. Go to our website right now. You can, in fact, listen to previous radio shows. I really recommend that you do that. Also, go to some of the YouTube videos that we've done. We've recorded our TV appearances and also some YouTube videos, which we're going to update soon because they're a little bit older. But guess what? They still apply. They still apply. Have you ever heard something, folks, that there's nothing new under the sun? So actually from the Bible. So folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back. Like us on Facebook. Stay tuned, and we'll talk to you soon.
Oil investments involve a high degree of risk, and actual results may vary. Accredited investors, are you tired of the volatility of the stock market? Diversify now while oil continues to go up in price, with expert predictions to be at $125 a barrel soon. When you do, you will get a 100% tax write-off for 2023. Why pay the government all the taxes this year and gamble in the stock market? Savvy and accredited investors use proven strategies that make more money and reduce their taxes. Freedom Crude allows you to take advantage of the enormous profits that both companies and producers of domestic oil have been experiencing. Hurry before December 31st. If you do nothing, you'll pay your fair share of taxes. Or act now and invest in oil and let your money go to work with a 100% write-off on your taxes, while at the same time generating potential income for decades to come. Call Freedom Crude, 800-834-1233. Freedom Crude, 800-834-1233. 800-834-1233.
An American Christmas is brought to you by Word of Life Ministries.
I'm Chip Davis of Mannheim Steamroller. Now, you wouldn't know it from the looks of things today, but Christmas almost didn't make it to America. At Plymouth Rock, the Pilgrims avoided all celebrations, but the Dutch and Germans worked to keep Christmas alive in early America. Help arrived in 1843 when Charles Dickens published A Christmas Carol. With Christmas ghosts and a change of heart, it captivated everyone. Churches began proclaiming Christmas as a time of charity and giving, which reminds me, it's only 10 days away now, and no one's finished their shopping yet. So let's remember the words of Tiny Tim, who said, I'm Chip Davis of Mannheim Steamroller.
Brought to you by Epson. Add the Epson EcoTank printer to your holiday shopping list so you can fill and chill. Available at participating retailers and Epson.com.
Are you ready to embark on a life-changing spiritual journey? Join us for Florida's one and only Bible Conference and Concert Series. Starting in January through March, you can engage in biblical teaching, uplifting concerts, and fellowship with a like-minded community, all in a beautiful resort-style setting in Hudson, Florida. With 10 week-long conferences led by renowned Christian speakers, teachers, and musicians from across the nation, you'll have the the opportunity to connect with fellow believers and grow spiritually. Sponsored by Word of Life Florida's Winter Conference and Concert Series at wol.is/winter.
And the sign said, long-haired freaky people need not apply. So I shoved my hair up under my hat and I went in to ask him why. He said, you look like a fine, upstanding young man. I think you do. So I took off my hat. I said, imagine that. Me working for you. Whoa, side, side, side. Looking at the scenery, breaking my mind. Do this, don't do that. Can't you read the sign?
Welcome back, folks. This is Greg Ellie of the Prosperity Group, and I'm here with Patty James of Prosperity Group, a key team member. Patty has a wealth of experience. In fact, I think you have a little bit more experience than me, Patty, because you're slightly...
Yes, that's your way of saying that I'm older than you.
Well, I wasn't trying to say that, Patty. You said it. I was trying to use more grace.
You weren't trying to
than
say,
that.
you were just saying it. And it's true. It will always be the truth.
But just barely. So
Just barely.
here's the thing. We just played the song Signs, Signs Everywhere, Signs. Folks, there's a lot of signs that are happening right now.
Mm.
One of the signs is history has a funny way of repeating itself. 1971, we saw the greatest devaluation of the dollar when the dollar went from gold-backed to fiat currency. And Richard Nixon famously did that. And in fact, because of the fact that he did something to protect Israel, and some of the powers that be didn't like it, do you know what happened shortly after? Watergate.
Imagine that.
The most botched burglary in human history that brought down a president. All right. Isn't it interesting that Richard Nixon was pardoned by Gerald Ford? I wonder if Joseph would pardon Don if there was a problem for the betterment of the country.
And look what he did compared to what they're saying.
For unity versus division. I'm just saying, folks, you got to think of these things. All right. Billy, thanks for joining us on Facebook. So the song Signs was by the 5-man electric band. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And it was played in 1971. 1971. So folks, I want to talk about one thing. There is a book. It's called The Imitation of Christ. It was written in the 17th century by St. Thomas à Kempis. And if you read I believe it's chapter 17. If you read in chapter 17 of The Imitation of Christ, he is talking to society at that time. You cannot tell a difference whether he's talking to society in the 17th century or the society now. So guess what? Human nature has not changed for centuries. It hasn't changed. So folks, that's why I brought up the scripture that says there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. Thank you, Luciano, for joining us. I appreciate it. Folks, we are also simultaneously doing this on Facebook. We typically record on Wednesdays, anywhere between 8:30 and 10:30. So if you'd like to join us, reach out to Prosperity Group at Facebook, okay? Patty, we ran into a situation the other day, and I want to bring it up because, folks, many of you have income riders, and income riders were a tool to create income opportunity in a low interest rate environment. So around 2000, interest rates started dropping, okay? And they dropped until about a year and a half ago. And they stayed around 2 to 3%, 2 to 4% for a long time. It was, I believe, a measure to control debt, but it was also a way for banks to profit. Banks made a huge profit during a low interest rate environment. As a result, in 2008, our government started printing money like never before. And guess what it did? It caused the stock market to climb. We had a 12-year bull run. It's called manipulation, okay? It's always interesting that I watch Nancy Pelosi, and she's a Democrat, or Senator Rick Scott, and these are politicians who had huge gains in the stock market. I want to know who their financial advisor is, Patty. Okay.
You're not suggesting anything, are you?
I'm not suggesting anything. No, why would I suggest anything? Only an 87% increase in Nancy's portfolio during COVID. 87% increase. 7% only went up 23%.
It'd be interesting to know what she was in.
COVID. Yeah, I would like to know. But hey, that's just the luck of the draw. Okay. And then you've got Senator Rick Senator now. He was governor of Florida. Okay. He's got a net worth of over $50 million. Here's my question, folks. How do people make that much money when they make less than $200,000 a year? But folks, I'm not implying anything. I'm a numbers guy. I look at numbers and I marvel when I see numbers work and when they don't work. So I'm just saying it's very interesting when you see some of these things that are going on. And so it's important to understand what your options are. It really is. So, Patty, what do you think? I want you to talk about what we ran into with an income rider yesterday, because I believe it's very, very important. That's right, Luciano. It seems that way.
And it's not just the income rider. It's there's not always good advice out there.
No.
So make these decisions wisely, and ourselves included. When you are advised to do something, take it to heart, think about it logically. Does it make sound sense for you?
That's correct.
We only deal with income riders that what Greg has coined as real money, meaning that when something does happen to you, that there is the possibility that your heirs can inherit money. So it's not just when you pass, it's what Greg has also coined as a use it or lose it. But also, how is that income rider applied to you? We always, I can only remember one time where we did not, what's the word? We did not create it as a joint income rider for both the spouse. And that was because in this situation, this person had so much money, they had equally large amounts of money, and it just really was not needed.
Yes.
But the majority of the times, we're all out here working for that goal to retire. And we now want our money to last us our lifetime.
That's correct.
And so not just our lifetime, but for that of our loved one.
Yes.
And we ran into a client that was not the case. They had been advised to do just a single income. You were great enough. We found a great solution for them. But remember, we have another client that came in with the same thing that this poor person, and they were told that their account would make up the money that the income would give out, and his wife would be fine, that when he passed, she would have the account would be whole.
Yeah. You know what? Talk is cheap. Numbers don't lie. I'm going to coin that phrase. Talk is cheap. Numbers don't lie. So here's what we ran into yesterday, folks. The man was told to turn on an income rider. The reason they turned on an income rider, he wanted to pay off about $30,000 of debt. Very nice man, very nice wife, and we gave him a better solution on how to pay off the debt. So here's what we've run into several times. I had a client come and see me a year ago. Do you remember this, Patty? He said, look, my wife wants me to pay off the house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's great to have a paid off house, but the loan was at 2.5%. I'm saying, I don't know if I would do that then. So here's what the client was going to do. Now, I know he didn't want to hear it from his wife. And so he was getting ready to cash $180,000 out of a $300,000 account that he had with us. Now, it didn't hurt us in any way, but I told him, I said, so here's what's going to happen. Let me draw a scenario for you. You're going to pay tax. You're going to be put into a higher tax bracket. You're going to cash $180,000 of a $350,000 investment, half of your investment. Now you're going to pay tax on that. Your Medicare is going to go up. Your taxes are going to go up. And I said, so you're getting double whammied. And I said, what happens if the real estate market crashes? So yeah, the house is paid off, but now you just threw away good money after bad money. I said, what if we strategically created a strategy where you'll pay off the house in the next 5 to 7 years. Yet your money's growing. See, one of the mistakes people make, there's two mistakes people make, Patty, that's huge. They want to avoid taxes. Okay. Nothing wrong with avoiding taxes. There is something wrong with evading taxes, but you want to try to avoid taxes. But a lot of people make great financial mistakes because they're trying to avoid taxes, and that's not necessarily the right strategy. Another advisor told the same client they should go into a Roth. Now, one of them's 70, the other one's 65. I pointed out 5 years. So why do you want to wait 5 years? And is there a real benefit to go tax-free? Because your tax bracket, you're going to have minimal taxes. And yeah, there's a risk of taxes going up.
And maybe you might want to explain to the listeners that don't understand what you mean by that 5 years.
Okay, go ahead.
In a Roth, when your money goes into the Roth, you have to wait 5 years before you can take it out.
Right. You can actually take out principal,
Right.
but it defeats the purpose of what you're trying to do because you're stunting the growth of the Roth.
Exactly.
Now, we've talked about this on shows. We have what's called a P-slip strategy, which works a lot better because of the fact that it's like a Roth on steroids. So it's very important that people take advantage of these strategies, folks. It's very, very important. So
Right.
You're right, Patty. And so the client was about to make a mistake. And what it was, the advisor also made a mistake and he put him into a single life, which means that the wife's income was totally at jeopardy if something happened to the husband.
Absolutely.
And here's the other thing. The most they could earn on the account was 4%, but they were taking 5% out of the account, which means we said in about 12 years, your money's out. So if you die around 12 years, there's no money to take care of your wife. So folks, these are issues that are huge that we need to be aware of. We need to be aware of all of these issues, folks. It's crucial. So folks, we are almost out of time, and go to mymoneyissafe.com. Call us at 1-800-440-0434. Stay tuned for seminars in Greenville, Sarasota, multiple states. We'll be right back.
Say everybody welcome, come in, and go down and pray. And they passed around the plate at the end of it all. I didn't have a penny to pay. So I got me a paper, and I made up my own little sign. I said, thank you, Lord, for thinking about me. I'm alive, doing fine. Rocking out the scenery, bringing it on. This, don't do that, get you reading the sign.
Ladies and gentlemen, life is changing we've never seen before. And so, folks, what can you do about some of the changes that are taking place? All right. How do you protect yourself? How do you protect your money? Folks, we have solutions, and it's not a one-size-fits-all plan. The days of stocks, bond, mutual funds may not be the best strategies. There are safe money strategies where you can make market-like returns. Call us at 800-440-0434. Go to mymoneyissafe.com.
AM 860, The Answer. Listen on our website, theanswertampa.com, 93.7 FM, W229 DJ Dunedin, by downloading the Answer Tampa app or on TuneIn or Odyssey. Here's the latest from the Answer News Center.
With SRN News, I'm Michael Harrington in Washington. The British and American military say a U.S. warship has shot down 14 suspected attack drones over the Red Sea, and a Royal Navy destroyer downed another drone that was targeting commercial ships. Houthi rebels in Yemen have launched a series of attacks on vessels in the Red Sea. That body of water is one of the world's busiest shipping routes. The Houthis have launched drones and missiles targeting Israel as the Hamas war continues. Activision Blizzard has agreed to pay $54 million to settle discrimination claims brought by California's Civil Rights Agency on behalf of women employed by the video game maker. The California Civil Rights Department says the settlement resolves allegations that the maker of Call of Duty, Overwatch, World of Warcraft, and other games, quote, discriminated against women all across the company. This is SRN News.
Because no matter what, no matter where, you need the truth. And specifically, if you're listening from Newport Richey to St. Petersburg or from Tampa to the coast, you can get The Answer on FM 93.7, always on AM 860, online at theanswertampa.com, and depending on where you are, on FM 93.7. The latest from AccuWeather at the top and bottom of the hour, only on AM 860, The Answer.
The coastal flood warning early this morning, high surf advisory till 7 a.m. Monday, wind advisory till 10 a.m., and a high rip current risk through Monday morning. A couple of showers early this morning, windy with clouds breaking for sunshine and a high of 70. Clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 58. Mostly sunny and less humid tomorrow, high 67. That's your AccuWeather forecast. I'm Holly Holdren for AM 860, The Answer.
Ooh, ain't got no hope. I know, baby, no. Ain't got no hope. I know, baby, wrong.
You mean the
I'm a lonely boy. I ain't got a home. I got a voice. I love to sing. I sing like a girl, and I sing like a frog. I'm a lonely boy. I ain't got a home. Ooh.
Welcome back, folks. This is Greg Ellie of the Prosperity Group, and I want you to stay tuned and watch what's going on, folks. This is what I'm telling you. You want to watch what's going on. That is crucial. There are a lot of changes that are taking place. I want to talk and complete what we said about income riders because it's very important. So let me explain to you what a gimmick is. All right. A gimmick is simply something that is created with the intention of telling you you've got something that you don't, and that'll work a certain way that it doesn't. And with this income rider, with this particular client, he was spending his own money. So he has to live over 25 years to actually make a profit. So that is what I call a use it or lose it income rider. So we fixed his problem. We added $16,000 to his account, which makes him profitable. And he'll be able to pull free withdrawals, but earn money. But let me explain to you what the problem with his income rider was. He was drawing a 5% withdrawal, but the most he could make is 4% if the market was up. So if he made 0%, or let's say made 2%, he's losing 3%. And that's compounded, which was going to put his wife in a very vulnerable position, folks. So it's important that people understand what their options are, okay? That is crucial, folks. So those of you who have income riders, those of you listening to me in the Florida area, let me look at those income riders and see if you've got the right type of income rider. Do you have the one that creates a pension-like income or an inflation-friendly increasing income or a higher guaranteed income? Because all of you who bought insurance products between 2000 and 2017 are, well, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. 2008 and 2017 are in a low-tiered account. We might be able to rescue you out of that account or give you a strategy to make your money extend. Folks, I coined the phrase create a pension-like income a long time ago. The income tools that we use create a pension-like income in many cases. So folks, you can reach us at 1-800-440-0434, or you can go to mymoneyissafe.com. You know, Patty, you've heard me talk about this for a long time, and we've implemented and try to help people with this, but this is a huge mistake that people make. And to me, it's self-serving that the broker will tell the folks, they'll do a single life income. You know, when we examine somebody's account, we ask those questions. We find out if the design was done correctly.
Absolutely.
And many times it's not. And guess who's at risk? You know, we had some people that no longer work with our firm who did some incorrect designs that we're fixing as much as we can. And it's one thing for somebody to be, you know, friendly and happy and go lucky. But when you're dealing with your money, you want somebody who's going to do the right thing.
And have
Okay.
those tough conversations.
And yeah, I mean, it's not about being self-serving. Here's the problem, Patty. If the advisor and the clients don't create a win-win situation, then it's not a good fit. Okay. If we lost money every time we helped the client, we wouldn't be in business long. But if the client loses money because the salesperson uses the wrong strategy, that's wrong too. Or the fees are eating up their account. So we want to make sure that that's protected. And that's the whole key with this, folks, is we want your money to be protected and the money to be safe. That's why our website is called mymoneyissafe.com. Because the question you have to ask yourself is your money safe? Is your money safe in the bank? Okay. We've talked about this before, but I'll just say it again. How much money is backing that $250,000 FDIC protection? Go to FDIC.gov and look up the BIF, which stands for Bank Insurance Fund. And all of you who think everything is hunky-dory, go back and look at the history books in 1929 to 1939 and find out who bailed out the banking industry. It was not the government. It was not the government. So what's your thoughts on what I just said, Patty?
I think it's even more important now than it was when we first started talking about it years ago.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's just so many layers to it. And the fact of what's going on, like as you titled the show, with the economy and our currency, just, brings it all more into play.
All what?
More into play.
Oh, yeah.
It just ties it all together and just makes it so important that we be aware of all of these things. And we cannot stick our head in the sand. That's why we like to bring these topics up. We don't have the answers for everything, but we are aware of what the possibilities are. And we like to provide you with opportunities to work around that.
So let me address something. And you're right. I don't have a crystal ball. And I'm not tooting my horn, but I've been right with a lot of the things that I said was going to happen. I believe you're going to see the Feds try to lower the interest rates probably early next quarter. I don't think it'll have the effect that they think it'll have, because I think we've hit a point of no return. That point of no return is the debt is spinning out of control. They're telling us inflation is under control.
Snowball.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's a financial snowball, a debt snowball. You got Dave Ramsey talking about what does he call it? The snowball to get rid of debt, which is great, but you want to be strategic on the way you get rid of debt, especially if it's not a lot of debt. So you want to be smart. Okay. I've just seen people make so many mistakes because they're trying to get out of debt. Here's the problem. It's not how much money you make, folks. It's how much you keep. This is the trap that happens in our system. People make money on borrowed money. Okay. Borrowed money is borrowed time, which means at some point the money runs out and the time runs out. So here's the problem, folks. If you have the wrong income rider, you could be on borrowed time. If your money is at risk and you don't have a safe money strategy, you could be on borrowed time. Listen to me very carefully. When the market crashes, if you have not had a defensive plan in place, you could be on borrowed time. So I'm not trying to paint a negative picture. I'm trying to paint a true picture, a realistic picture, and a one-size-fits-all doesn't work. It does not work. So because why? It doesn't fix your problem. It only fixes the person who makes money on the project. We've ran money with we've looked at accounts from other groups that have an aggressive strategy on what they try to do with life insurance. And I've seen people pay huge amount of taxes. I believe it's a very self-serving strategy that benefits themselves, but not necessarily the clients. Folks, we have tax-free strategies, the P-slip strategy, but these income riders is important. So I should play something and say, danger, danger, Will Robinson. And the danger is right now, what happens if the currency changes and the United States is no longer the reserve currency, folks? What happens at that point? it's very, very important to understand what your options are. Patty, any thoughts before we fade out of this segment?
I love it when you give me these bombshells. My thoughts are, like we have said, to be aware, plan, listen to your advisors. Please call us. We would love to talk to you and give you a more detail of our thoughts and how they work with your portfolio.
Yes,
So like we say, do not ignore. Now's not the time to ignore and look the other way, but now's the time to be prudent and look at all the options because there are options.
absolutely, absolutely. You know, I'm looking right now what's going on with the stock market. It's fairly flat right now. So already it's not responding to some of what they said in the interest rates. And folks, I believe when you look at some of, I think I sent you an article, maybe we can look it up, that some of these experts are saying the S&P should be down 10%, some as high as 20% next year. That's what they're predicting. So folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back. Call us at 800-440-0434. Go to mymoneyissafe.com.
Good morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you have a retirement account? Did you know that we can?
Good morning, Doc. Can you hear me? It's Yumiko. Ken's outside smoking a cigarette.
5%
He's
of
a
your
no good
retirement
skunk.
account. That could be life changing, all without risk, but with the opportunity.
So how are you doing this morning?
I'm good. Let me see if the video looks any good. Can you see me?
Oh yeah, you're looking great as usual.
Trying to ride out the market and hope
I've got, Ken's got himself, his primary right now.
Go to mymoneyissafe.com.
His primary? What do you?
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans
He
all
can fix it when he
across
comes in.
America. So if you have an
Okay.
old car,
He knows
truck,
what
or
to do.
van, even a motorcycle
Okay.
or an RV sitting around, you can
So,
right now give it away and
what are
help
you
the
doing? Are you
vets.
helping
they
out
really
today,
need your
or?
help and your
Oh,
car
well,
will
I
help
usually
support
sit
the
in here
vets
with
and
him
their
until I have to
families. And
do
guess what? You
Jeff
even get a tax
Jeffrey Pritchard's
donation.
show.
Plus, we'll even
Oh,
come and
really?
pick up your car
Yeah.
for free. And all
So,
you've got to do is pick
so
up
you
your
guys,
phone right now
hang
and
out,
make a
huh?
free call.
Yeah,
It's the
and then when
perfect time
your
to
show
do
starts, I
something
usually
good for the
sit in
vets.
the
Give
other
back
studio
the
to
vets
take
right now for
phone
all
calls for
they've
the
done for
bugs
this
that you
country.
usually
And your
give
old
out.
car can really
Oh,
help
cool.
them. So
Well,
call the
thank you.
Veterans Car
You're
Donation
welcome.
Program
Appreciate it.
right now for
No
free
problem.
pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and
So
help
you
So I
any
see
good?
that you're married to your wife is Asian. I don't know if Ken told you that I was a quarter Japanese.
Can you turn off the show feed so I can hear you a little better?
Sure. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm I don't know if Ken told you that I'm part Japanese.
Which part, the left or the right?
Jeez. I'm black and I'm Japanese and I'm Indian.
You're what?
I'm black, Japanese, and Indian.
Black, Japanese, and Indian. Well, Japanese and Indian are the same thing.
Yeah, that's true.
They came out of the same bloodlines.
That is true. My father is half black and Japanese, and then my mother is black and Indian.
You must be very confused, child. You don't know whether to eat rice or
geez.
chitlins, huh?
I love your sense of humor.
Oh my. So where are you from originally?
So I lived in Texas. I was born there. I stayed there till 2003, and then I moved here because of my dad's job. He transferred here. Both my parents are from here. I don't like it here, but you know, I've lived here for 20 something years now.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't really like the tropical weather that goes on year round. I like snow during the winter, and of course we don't get that here. And I don't like the heat.
The heat is what is difficult for me. We were in Singapore recently, and that's just 1 degree north of the equator, so that's extremely hot. And it's like Florida all year round, or most of the year around. So that's it's a little bit too much for me, or I would move there. It's really nice. They don't
Yeah,
talk.
I see where you've done a lot of traveling. I'm jealous because I would I would like to do some traveling. I was supposed to go to Japan when I was 18 with my grandmother, but unfortunately she has dementia, so she can't travel. Oh, and here's Ken.
Okay. Well, nice talking with you.
You too, Dr. Bill.
Okay. Bye-bye.
How you doing, Doc? I had to go out and check the wind direction.
Yeah, no. Which way's the smoke blowing this morning? So
What is behind you? It looks like some sort of device from Star Wars.
it's called a gamma knife, or it's a type of gamma ray treatment that's highly localized. And you can use it for brain tumors or for trigeminal neuralgia, which was what I'm going to talk about a little bit this morning.
My grandmother died of a brain tumor, but that was 1963, and they had to go in and try and cut it out. It didn't go very well. She died about a month later, I think.
Yeah, I think it's tough, especially if it's a glioblastoma multiforme. They're hard to eradicate. They tend to come back.
Well, back then, I don't think they had any of that, so.
No, they didn't. It was brand new. The gamma knife just came along, I think, and I don't remember when it came out. It's fairly new. It's past 20, 30 years, I would say. Let me see.
Oh, Grandma left me in 63. I remember going to the hospital to see her for the last time. It was dark and not the kind of, it just doesn't look like a hospital the way it does now. You know, hospitals are so bright and clean. Back then, I just remember being dark and dingy. Of course, I was 3 feet tall, and 5.
It looks like the gamma knife goes back to January 68 in Germany, in Stockholm, Sweden. And so it probably came into more common use in the 70s and 80s. It probably is an expensive piece of equipment.
It's amazing how far we've come in medicine in the last 50 years or so.
Oh, unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
So what else are we going to talk about? Anything happening at the condos? They reinstall you yet as president?
No. I'm filing a lawsuit for slander and libel against one of them. And that should shake them up. And then I filed criminal charges, and I think the police visited 1 or 2 of them so far, trying to decide whether or not they're going to file charges.
Well, that's getting serious then.
Yep. Don't mess with Bill. You remember that song?
That's right. Yeah.
Don't mess with Bill. No, 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 no.
Golden oldie, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't mind people criticizing, and they certainly have the right to recall me. That's in the statutes. But to cheat to do it, and to lie about me and defame me, and that's just not right.
That's right, exactly. So
It's
I don't know. Tell you, put something in there. Put some drugs in their coffee or something. Give them some Tomaine.
I'd rather just get some money out of it and win a lawsuit.
That's probably better. You can take a cruise then. Yeah.
Yeah, if you poison them, then you end up in jail, and that's not much of a holiday. But if you sue them and you win, that's money.
All right, Doc. What else we got? Anything?
Yeah, the Supreme Court decided not to hear the Illinois ruling on the AR-15 that guy used a couple of years ago. I think he got off like 83 rounds in under a minute.
Yeah, and a 4th of July parade in a very quiet northern suburb.
Yeah, and apparently, I guess it was an Army AR-15, because there's no way a semi-automatic could have gotten that many off. So it had to be that AR-15 that shoots 3, and then you have to pull the trigger again. But NPR is making it sound like the Supreme Court's banning all AR-15 style rifles, which I don't think is the case. I think the automatic ones with the big clips, that's what they're outlawing.
Most likely, yeah, it'll be the ones with the huge clips. I don't think I've done a couple stories in Chicago about that this week, but I don't think they've ever said if there was the only one or all of them.
Yeah, I think that it's a little misleading what NPR or whoever put it out is saying. So it
ain't gonna help none.
Well, you can own an automatic weapon, but you have to apply for a special permit. It's, several $100s more, and then it's you got to be vetted by ATF, criminal checks, and all that crap.
Well, the problem with this case was the father actually bought the rifle for his son or something like that.
Well, I think that it was probably an illegally sold weapon anyway, because if you can get off 3 rounds with one trigger pull, that's an automatic weapon, and I don't think there's any state that allows that.
Well, the father has been found guilty, and he's doing time right now. The son, the actual shooter's son, he'll be tried in, I think, in January.
Will he?
Yeah, the father's doing time for getting the gun.
I know there was a case up in Michigan where the parents, they bought a pistol for the kid, and a couple of days later, he went and shot up his school, and they're on trial for manslaughter. I don't know if they were convicted or not.
That's probably a stretch, manslaughter, but, certainly contributing to delinquency of a minor, maybe.
Yeah. Last thing you want to do with a troubled kid is get him a gun.
No kidding.
I had a shotgun and .22 rifle, and I was having a party when my parents were out of town, and some guy came in that I didn't like, and my friends had to restrain me. I was going to go up and shoot him. Good thing they restrained me.
Well, I know when we were teenagers, we some of my friends' parents had guns, and we would take them out into the farm field and shoot off a few rounds, some target stuff, but that was about it.
We'd go out in the country and see if we could hit traffic signs while we were driving, see if we could see how good our cowboy, our Indian riding and shooting was.
Yeah, that's teenage fun out in the country.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, buddy boy. Yeah, we go up US 42, head up towards Cincinnati, get about 5-10 miles out of town.
Oh, we used to do all kinds of things. We had sticks of dynamite, quarter sticks of dynamite. That's how we used to fish. We just take the quarter stick of dynamite and throw it in the Kankakee River and just wait for them to come on up.
Oh, we blew up a few mailboxes and built a few pipe bombs. That was a bad.
Those were the good old days.
Those were the days. Oh, yes, they were. So am I showing up okay on your video?
You look great. You got your peach shirt on today, and the laser thing behind you is cool. So, yeah. Makeup is perfect.
You're going to have to turn your screen off so that I can come through on Restream.
I have turned my video off of you?
You have to turn, you'll see, you're on Zoom, so down at the bottom, you'll see stop video.
I'll take a look here. Hang on.
And then I'll pop up on Restream and YouTube and Facebook and everything else. You see it down there, lower left.
Let's see here. It says start video, and I've already got it muted out. It's not on.
Huh. That's weird.
Because I'm not sending video to you. I'm only looking at yours.
No, but you're sending the videos coming back through me and going out through Zoom to Restream. So let's see how I can get you out of here. Video settings. Get rid of Ken. Damn, there's nowhere in here to do.
Yeah, because my camera is off.
Something's not right.
Well, we were doing it before, and I haven't changed anything. It's just the last couple of weeks now. And we are at 57 minutes, too. After, rather.
Let me see if I can turn you off in here. Don't know, bud.
Yeah, neither do I. I don't know anything about these newfangled video things.
How about your girl? She know anything about it?
Shaking her head no. We're receivers. We don't do a lot of transmitting.
I have no idea.
Well, we got 1 minute. I don't think we're going to figure it out.
Well, maybe when that show goes off and our show goes on, it might kick over.
Could be. We'll see.
Yep.
All right, we're going into the news, and I'll talk to you on the other side of the weather.
All right, buddy.
Okay.
Tampa Bay's only conservative station. AM860, The Answer, WGUL. You need to download the Answer Tampa app or listen online at theanswertampa.com. Tune in at Odyssey. Here's the latest from the Answer News Center.
With SRN News, I'm Michael Harrington in Washington. Fighting continues in Gaza as Israel seeks to put the Muslim terror group Hamas out of commission permanently. The former commander of U.S. Southern Command, Admiral James Stavridis, says after Israel finishes off Hamas, it must turn its attention to Hezbollah in the north.
There's enough firepower up there, despite Iron Dome, despite David Sling, despite all the air defense. That could be a crushing blow, for example, to the city of Tel Aviv.
Stavridis tells the Salem radio network Hezbollah is an existential threat to Israel. The UN Migration Agency says a boat carrying dozens of migrants trying to reach Europe capsized off the coast of Libya yesterday, leaving more than 60 people dead, including a number of women and children. This is SRN News. Dr. Albert Mohler of the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary says the recent congressional testimony by the presidents of Harvard, Penn, and MIT should send a message to all Americans.
The moral confusion, secularization, radicalization, the ideological corruption of American higher education has never been more evident. Those three women failed a basic moral test. And let's face it, they failed it publicly and catastrophically. Indeed, they steadfastly resisted making any categorical statement against calls for the mass murder of the Jewish people.
And Christians should be paying special attention, he says.
This tells us a great deal about the rot of America's higher education. It also underlines the incongruity of how so many Christian parents and students think it would be a great achievement to get into those universities.
Several studies indicate that Christian kids who go off to secular colleges are likely to fall away from their faith and maybe not return. This is SRN News.
Attention all patriots, are you ready to embark on an unforgettable expedition? You're invited to journey with me on the Patriots Alaska Cruise, June 2024. We'll dive deep into geopolitical trends and unpack the influences shaping today. This experience is more than a vacation. It's a chance to participate in profound discussions and spirited debates with like-minded patriots. 7 action-packed days will explore new ideas and chart a course toward a bright American future, all while surrounded by the raw majesty of Alaska's natural wonders. You'll experience powerful creation as you're immersed in the splendor of glaciers and fjords. Let's come together as patriots in this amazing landscape. Mark your calendar, June 29th to July 6th, 2024. Learn more and secure your spot on this once-in-a-lifetime adventure by calling 855-565-5519 or book online at patriotsalaskacruise.com.
The following program is sponsored by Bay Area Medical Can Care Clinic.
The latest from AccuWeather at the top and bottom of the hour, only on AM 860, The Answer.
We have a coastal flood warning early this morning, high surf advisory till 7 a.m. Monday, wind advisory till 10 a.m., and a high rip current risk through Monday morning. A couple of showers early this morning, windy with clouds breaking for sunshine and a high of 70. Clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 58. Mostly sunny and less humid tomorrow, high 67. That's your AccuWeather forecast. I'm Holly Holdren for AM 860, The Answer.
Go, Doc.
Good morning, everybody. This is Dr. Bill, your radio MD, and I do not know why we're not streaming me instead of Ken's eye here. But I will figure it out, and we'll see if we can get it to change sometime during the show. Since you can't see me, I can look around and walk and talk in the studio here, and we'll get it. But
Well, I can describe you. Let's see. You're wearing a peach shirt. Your makeup is perfect. The glasses look good. The home went through the hair okay today. Yeah, you're looking fine. Got nice coloring to you. Got this bizarre Star Wars thing behind you and on your screen. So, yeah, you're fine. You're good. You're good, Doc.
Oh, well, I hope so, Ken. I look good to me. I'm looking at me, and you just wouldn't believe how handsome I am on camera, but.
I know it's amazing. The women they're lined up just to get a glimpse of you.
Had some old guy come in and want to join the practice this week, and basically he wanted to meet me. He was so thrilled, and he wanted to talk to me, and he wanted to know about you. And I said, "Oh, he's just old and ugly. You don't want to see him."
Well, you told him the truth. Come on, Doc.
No, I said he's a good looking guy, and he's
there. You go.
And he weighs 220, and.
That's why I love radio. That's why I don't like to be on television, because you form that picture of the person talking in your mind. And unfortunately, we can never live up to that picture. So it's always a disappointment when they finally meet us, especially the big rock and roll guys. So you can never, reality can never compete with your imagination.
No, you can't. And it's a great thing, too. I mean, that's the whole nut of show business is that ability to suspend disbelief and to put yourself into a semi-fantasy world, you know?
Yeah, theater of the mind, right.
Yeah. So at any rate, I was looking at NPR, and they had an article on this kid up in Illinois that shot up bunch of people on Independence Day in 2022. I guess you know about that because you're from up there.
Yeah, I actually kind of still work up there a little bit online, but yeah, it's a very big story at the moment.
7 dead and 48 wounded. And so the Illinois Supreme Court banned AR-15s, and the federal district court said they'll uphold that. And then a gun group took it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court refused to hear it, which means it stands. But the thing that's got me upset is that the NPR said that it was a semi-automatic AR-15. Well, the kid got off 83 rounds in under a minute. So that's no semi-automatic. That's
fully automatic, isn't it?
Yeah, the AR-15s, the military AR-15s, what they did to cut down on the number of shells but still give you an automatic weapon is you have to pull the trigger and it fires 3 shells, and then you have to pull the trigger again. So you could get off that many shots in a minute with that kind of a weapon, but that's not a semi-automatic. That's an automatic weapon. So a little bit deceptive here in this NPR piece, but that's the
no kidding.
That's the way the Democrats do it.
NPR not being totally honest.
Oh my God,
unheard of.
And by the way, you know, during the news, we heard about how the kids are losing their religion when they go to college, which is probably not anything new. But somebody did a survey of college professors and whether they were Democrats or Republicans, and the professors who are teaching religion, 70-1 Democrats.
Really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
And I mean, it's unbelievable. You know, it's 20-1 in this and sociology, and 30-1 in another art major, and So there's just no way you're going to get a balanced view when you go to college. And
So
I
you
mean,
buy a philosophy now when you pay for college.
and this was the whole takeover thing that the left had planned back in the 60s and 70s. I mean, this is what they wanted. They want a socio-fascist country. That's what they want, and they want to be in control. And they don't want religion because religion, especially religions like Catholicism, preached against communism, as you know.
Yes.
So that's quite disturbing, but I don't know. I guess there's not much you can do about it at this point other than bring it to the attention of people. However, the alumni and the big donors are going after these university presidents and CEOs and board members who have been anti-Israel and pro-Palestine and allowing hate speech on campus. Now, if you were to go on campus and say kill all blacks or kill all Muslims, then you'd be arrested. But if you say go kill all Jews, that's okay. I don't know why, Ken. I just don't know. I don't understand.
I don't get it either. It doesn't make any sense. And they're going to lose their jobs. They're already falling. I mean, they're already falling. What's that? What was her name from last week? We were talking about her. She resigned because of the pressure.
From UPenn. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're all going to fall.
We hope so.
You've got to have balance in an educational system.
You got to have it, and you have.
Otherwise, you're just teaching. Yeah. Otherwise, it's just Nazi stuff, you know.
And if you're gonna thump free speech, then you got to allow free speech. You can't just pick and choose what you like and don't like.
Exactly. Can't have it both ways.
You cannot. You cannot fry ice.
That's right.
You cannot fry ice. You can fry ice cream, but I think you have to put it in something, don't you?
I probably wouldn't want it afterwards, but you know.
And the pan's awfully hot.
Yeah.
So don't drink it right out of the pan. So at any rate, I was talking with my next door neighbor, and she's got trigeminal neuralgia.
What is that?
It's the old name was tic douloureux. It is the trigeminal nerve is the nerve that brings sensory innervation to the face, and it comes out of the pons, which is at the base of the brain, and then it comes underneath the skull and behind the ear, and then it fans out into the face itself, and it gives you sensory, sensation, feeling in your face. There's not much motor neuron in it. Now, the problem with this syndrome is that these nerves they're sheathed. So if you think of a piece of copper wire that's bare, that's not sheathed. But if you think of your extension cord with that plastic, flexible, rubber-like sheath over it, that's sheath. So nerve cells have a fatty sheath around them. Not all nerve cells, but some nerve cells do. And so when you lose that, then you have impulses jumping from one nerve to another sideways instead of going straight in and out, if you understand me. Kind of like
it's like a wiring diagram.
Yeah, it's kind of like a short in the electrical system, and that causes pain in the distribution of those nerves, and you get these lancinating, burning pains in your face. And it can be triggered by chewing, talking, smiling, drinking hot or cold fluids, touching, shaving, brushing your teeth, blowing your nose, entering cold air from an automobile, or going outside from a hot to cold area. And patients can localize their pain precisely. They know exactly where it is. And it runs right along the distribution of these nerves. And there's 3 branches of the facial nerve. And so you can actually pinpoint which branch is most effective. It's really a troublesome thing. It can last from minutes to hours to becoming a chronic problem. And it's usually paroxysmal, it comes in spasms, commences with sensation of an electrical shock, and peaks in about 20 seconds, and then can become a dull pain, but it can be a really disabling situation. Now, I guess there's about 40 to 50,000 people that have this actively in the United States. So it's not common, but it's not uncommon either. We do have some treatments for it, and unlike migraine headaches, it doesn't occur in your sleep. So if you have migraines that are triggered by facial nerve pain or by posterior occipital nerve pain or posterior auricular nerve pain, and those are sensory nerves that not only take care of your face, but your scalp and behind your ears and different parts. It's different because you can wake up with a migraine, but you usually do not wake up with trigeminal neuralgia pain. So it's a tough thing and it's hard to treat. We do have medication that we use, which is an anti-seizure medication, and we can add another one to that. So there are ways to manage it. Now, there's also neurosurgical techniques that can be used because we think some of these are caused by blood vessels in the brain crossing over the nerve itself before it exits the skull and goes out towards the face. And that this compression actually makes the nerve cells lose their sheathing, their fatty sheathing, their myelin sheathing. We call it myelin. And there's also radiation therapy. And I wish I could show it behind me here, but you can see it, Ken. That's a gamma knife. So you localize the spot in the brain that you want to zap, and this machine pinpoints gamma radiation using radioactive cobalt, and it filters it down these tubes, and it gets to like a pinpoint, so you can make it like a knife, like a hot knife, and you can go in and burn out certain areas. You can also open up the skull, but that's kind of
That's extreme, I would think. Yes.
in this day and age, I don't think you need to do that. But about 75% of people respond to the medications and the drugs that we use. And we use gabapentin, and we also use lamotrigine and baclofen. Baclofen is an antispasmodic, but seems to help. Gabapentin has been the most effective, and you can always add a second medication. Of course, like any medication, there's potential side effects. So you just have to make sure your doctor is performing all the right lab work on you and taking care of you in a way that is appropriate for the medication that he or she has put you on. And they've actually biopsied. I hope not from anybody living, but
yeah.
They've biopsied
that without permission. You got to ask first.
I mean, he was asleep, so I figured it was okay. But they've actually biopsied the trigeminal nerve, and they can see that the myelin sheathing is degrading, and so it's a pretty fascinating syndrome.
Call Mr. Sparky, get some
very
new wiring,
debilitating, and drives you nuts. Of course, you can get gabapentin, and then you can tell your doctor it's still hurting, and then you can get some good dope, and sit around the house and martinis and pop pills.
Well, that's a cool looking machine behind you.
Yeah. I wish I could figure out how to get it showing on.
It has about 30 very narrow tubes coming out of it, and they're each on the person. There's a patient in the chamber, and they're each in a specific spot on his head. And I guess they're aiming for those spots when they fire off through whatever they're firing off.
Yeah.
So that's just a layman's perspective there.
And it's a good perspective.
You all right, Doc?
Yeah.
I'm getting an echo now.
You're getting an echo?
Yeah.
Hang on, let me see. I clicked something.
Yeah, your microphone's kind of off. Would you like to take a little break, Doc?
Yeah.
We can go about 10 minutes early if you want.
All right, I'll reboot and I'll send you a link. We'll be right back, folks. Play a little music.
We'll take care of you.
All right, buddy.